Hi, it's day 5 and we are all about the foam roller today. So you might have a long one, you might have a short one, doesn't matter. If you don't have one at all, rolling pin, tin of beans, something maybe like a firm water bottle that isn't going to crack. So it has a lot of benefits. The foam roller, it massages essentially the soft tissue of the body, which therefore, if we do it often and enough, can create better movement of muscles sliding over one another. It can release knots, it can stimulate better circulation in our blood, it can help with all sorts of things internally as well, like irritable bowel syndrome. So, use it a lot, love it, even though that it can cause a little bit of agony as we're using it. We're going to start with using it on our backs. Now, if you are using a rolling pin, maybe add a towel over it to cushion the spine on that, or skip this section. But if you're going to use it on your back, same thing for a tin of beans, don't use that. You're going to just take your hands interlace behind your head, stand into your feet, slightly lift the pelvis, and just starting from the middle back, begin to roll down to your lower ribs, and then all the way up to your neck. And just have a good old roll like you're rolling out some pizza dough. Oh, I forgot to say, tie your hair up in case it gets caught underneath. Don't wear any hoodies. And you might notice some cracks coming out of your back. You can play around with doing this more on one side. And just enjoy, oh, there's another big crack. Enjoy this massage. Be careful not to go up onto your neck because it's vulnerable. We just want to go right up to the top of the shoulder blades and down the thoracic spine to the base of your ribs. Okay. So perhaps we've cracked everything out of our backs. Drop your pelvis back down, carefully bring yourself up, and we'll come onto our glutes. So you're going to sit with your bottom on it, cross your left ankle over your right thigh, and you're going to then rock your weight over onto the right pelvic half, the right glute. And we're just going to roll up and down here, and you might get a little bit of a tender spot. And I just encourage you to keep rolling through it. And then take it over onto the left side, same thing. Now, because this right foot is lifted, the left thigh is therefore able to kind of switch off, which helps then. If we tense up whilst having a massage, it doesn't really do anything for us. It's the same thing here. If you can relax yourself, as hard as that might be, the more you're going to get out of this. See if you can take it all the way sort of onto the outer edge of your glute where it attaches to your pelvis. Work through that tender spot. It's sort of between the hip and the top of your pelvis, right in the middle. And then let that go back through to the centre and change the legs over. Right foot crosses over the left. So you can start on the left where you just came from, working into the top of the glutes, glute minimus, glute medius, TFL. And then take it over onto the right glute. Oops. And really lean over into it again. See if you can relax your right glute tissue. Woohoo! Tender, I think, is probably the right word for this. It's not a pain. What kind of is a pain? But it's the tenderness of the muscle that feeds back to us. And I swear to you, if you did this daily, it eases off. It does get better. Again, take that onto the outside of the hip. Woo. And work through that one. Breathing as well. And bringing it back to the centre. Bring yourself up and over the back of it. So then take the roller underneath your calves, and you've got two big calves. And you're just going to try and roll them out here. So you can start parallel. I almost just flick my feet away from me. That's kind of, I guess, where I'm initiating it from. And you can take it lower down, and you can get into the attachment into the heel and the Achilles. And then play around with turning the feet out, working in external rotation, and then in internal rotation. You'll feel how that kind of releases all areas of the calf. Again, play around with whether it's high, whether it's low. You can do that same thing, rolling out, rolling in. So if you are someone who runs or walks a lot, you'll probably be getting quite tight in this area. And you don't want to create any plantar fasciitis in the back of the heel. So rolling out the calves, really, really good habit to get into. You might even not run and walk and they're still tight. Okay, let's take that then onto the front of your thigh, into your quadricep. You have 4 quadriceps. We're going to try and do the one that runs right down the middle. And then we're going to work our way incrementally out to the side. And then we'll go onto the inner thighs. So you're going to flip yourself over onto your knees. Have that roller just in front of your knees where it's not going to roll away. There you go. And then lay the middle of your thighs onto it. So just be here for a moment. Oof, you might even get something already. Again, the more you can soften yourself, the more you can relax, the better. So if you're using rolling pins, you know, that firmer, harder surface is going to be a little bit more painful. So just come in and out of this as you need to, or roll it up in a towel. If you're using tins, take one underneath each thigh. And then just slowly letting the feet lift. Roll yourself backwards, so that roll is going to come up towards the top of your thighs and your pelvis. And then use your forearms to slowly bring yourself back forward, just to the middle of the thigh for now. And then rolling away, and back up. Then from the middle of the thigh, you're going to work yourself down to just above the kneecap, where it goes a little bit, doesn't feel so muscular, it feels a little bit looser maybe, but it doesn't mean it's any easier. So up and down. And then take it the whole length of the thigh, all the way up, all the way down. So then to come onto the side, if you find the middle, drop your right foot down and just slightly roll yourself out on a sort of 45-degree angle. The right foot, you can bring it closer to the roller, plant it onto the floor, and then you get a bit more support then to roll up and down. So you're not quite on the side of your left thigh, you're just somewhere on the edge if it was more like a rectangle. And this is tender. Whew. Again, taking it all the way up and down, just to the above the kneecap, just to the top of the hip, or bottom of the hip rather. And then you can take it more onto the side of your thigh, rolling into the IT band. At this point, I like to stack my legs. It gives a bit more weight, so therefore gives a bit more pressure and roll. If that's too much, keep your foot still on the floor if you need it for balance. And then just keep rolling, come back to the sort of halfway 45-degree point, and then slowly rolling back towards lying on both thighs. And then we take it to the other side. So find the halfway, roll 45 degrees, step your left foot in, and then off you go. Up and down, all the way to the top. All the way just above the knee. And then taking it onto the outside of that thigh again. slowly working your way back. All the way onto both thighs, and then just keep going again, all the way up and down. And then to get into your inner thigh, drop your knees. You're going to need to move the roller across, and you're going to lie with your right inner thigh on the roller at a bit of an angle. And the same thing goes here. So I'm tucking the left toes, using the left toes on the floor, lifting that left thigh to lift my pelvis, and then rolling that roller up into my groin and down towards the inner side of my knee. And you might need to have a bit of a rejig to get down to that lower part. So you've got 3 inner thigh muscles that you're trying to get into here. Just play around as well with the movement. Play around with the roller. And then let's bring it over to the other side and swap it for the left leg. So lying on your right, left inner thigh on it, tucking the toes of your right foot, lifting that right thigh, and just begin rolling. Again, just play around with what feels good. How you're going to get into the higher or lower areas might depend on where your standing leg is. I've put mine on the floor to get down into my knee a bit more. Woo! All right, and then letting that go. Bring yourself back to kneeling. And then just bring yourselves to standing and give those thighs a bit of a pat out. Around to your glutes. Down the side. Over the knee. And give it a good shake out. And we are done. So see if you can do that 3, maybe 4 times a week. If you're doing it after a run as well, that'd be great as a way of kind of like loosening the muscles and maybe taking a stretch afterwards as well. Nice one, guys. See you next time.